everyone! So yeah, Noah Wiley, very wise man. And if you want to see Noah Wiley's interview with that quote, I'll put a link in the description box. I had to share it, it was so perfect for this episode. On to the review for episode 5 of Falling Skies, Search and Recover. Last week ended on a pretty crazy cliffhanger because all we saw was pretty much the plane crash. And that can never be a good thing. But before I get into that part of the episode, I'm just gonna share some quick thoughts first. Starting with, it looks like Marina and Weaver could be having a little romance. I think they would be cute together. Last week we met Creepy Hal, and I have to say this week he's blending in pretty well so far. It's not like I could have guessed that he wasn't him, so it's not one of those like, how can you not tell it's him? No, he's so far he's still him enough that you wouldn't question him too much, but I'm guessing that's gonna change very soon. I also wanted to mention that I really enjoy the scenes that we've been getting between Matt and Ben. I think it's nice to see a little brotherly interaction between the two, so I'm really enjoying that. And we also found out that Anne's baby is the only one that has alien DNA according to Dr. Kodar's test. That leads me to ask 3 questions. 1, how did they create the baby in the first place? 2, what for? And 3, why Anne and Tom's baby? Hopefully we'll get some answers very soon. Now on to a big revelation in the episode. Marina asks Dr. Kodar to look into the pictures of what the Volm are building and try and figure out what they are. I totally agree with Marina because as much as I love Cochise and I think the Volm are good, you shouldn't go into this blindly either. I mean, let's hedge our bets a little bit. Unfortunately, what Kadar finds is a little worrisome. If I understand correctly, what they're building has some sort of generator or power capability that far exceeds what the machine would need. And as Dr. Kadar says, that would be a little overkill. So now we're wondering, why would they even build it that way? That's the big question. I'm still gonna say there's a good explanation for it, but I'm with Marina on this. They should find out a little more about this machine, whether or not it's a good thing. Let's move on to the biggest part of the episode, and that's Tom and Pope, who survived the crash, trying to get back to the settlement. Now, these two don't get along really well, but the smart thing about this episode is that they pair them in the middle of nowhere, trying to survive and make it back to the settlement. And of course, that leads to some great moments. For instance, we learn a little bit more about Pope's past. And if you didn't like him before, you might feel a little more empathy for him and for what he went through. Also, I think we knew this, but it's good to have it confirmed that they both have a good heart. I mean, even Pope wouldn't leave Tom behind and Tom wouldn't leave Pope behind. When shit hits the fan, they stick together. I particularly like the moment where Tom hurts his leg and is trying to send Pope away because he's like, I can't do it, I can't walk, you need to go. And the way he sort of hurts Pope's feelings so he goes away reminded me of White Fang when he is mean to the wolf. Be like, go free, I don't love you anymore, I hate you. And I was like, oh, but he does it because he cares. And of course, Pope goes away, but he comes back for Tom with a car. So again, goes back to what I was saying about them sticking with each other and making it back. Yay. Unfortunately for Tom, just as he gets back, he learns that Anne and the baby have disappeared. So yeah, can't catch a break, can he? And the last thing I want to talk about is the mole, because we have gotten some extra information, I guess, in this episode. And I think some of the things we learned is that in order to know where Tom was or where the plane was, he had to either be in the plane, and that would be Tom, Pope, Bressler, Cochise, or the lieutenant. And she didn't do it because she's not part of the settlement, so that rules her out. Bressler is out because he died. It's between Tom, Pope, and Cochise, or as Tom suggested, there was a tracker on the plane. But because I'm thinking it's going to be very outrageous who it is, it could be Pope. How crazy would it be if it was Pope, right? It was interesting that Pope kind of asked Tom, like, you know, are you still on this? Like, just let it go, on how the mole could have possibly found out. So maybe he's trying to throw him off the track. So I'm keeping my eye on you, Pope. Or it could be Cochise, and then my whole theory about him being a good guy is kind of thrown out the window, so yeah. But if the plane was tracked, then I'm back to square one at this point. So that's all I have for this episode. I haven't seen next week's episode, so I'm totally blind now. I don't know what's coming up, and I'm like crazy excited for next week because I was told that it would be a big Hal episode. So Creepy Hal is gonna come out and be crazy, or at least I hope that something happens. However, because I haven't seen this episode yet, the review will be up a little later than usual because I'll have to watch and then record the review, but it will be up as soon as possible. Of course, I want to know what you guys thought of this episode, and if you guys have any theories about who the mole is. Do you think it might be Pope? And what do you think the Volm are building? Do you think that they're good like I do, or are you suspicious of them? Let me know in the comments. As always, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a big thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, make sure you do so that you don't miss any of my Falling Skies reviews or a Dexter review, because that has started too. And any other reviews that we might have on the channel and interviews as well. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next week. Bye! Last episode left us on quite a cliffhanger with the Skitters attacking the settlement, but they didn't count on the Volm and their technology helping the humans fight them back. So let's start with some quick thoughts.